This meeting is called to order. Madam Clerk, would you take the roll?
City Attorney Doctor.
Here.
City Manager Burton.
Here.
Commissioner Dean.
Here.
Commissioner Logan.
Here.
Commissioner Reed.
Here.
Commissioner Shurtleff.
Here.
Mayor Collins.
Here. Would you rise for the Pledge of Allegiance? Our commission minutes for 8/13/25 admin meeting, 8/18/25 commission meeting, and 8/27/25 admin meeting were received. Commissioners, do we have any comments or questions? Proclamation, National Voter Registration Day. City of Helena, proclamation. Whereas voting is the foremost right and responsibility of citizens of the United States of America. And whereas active and engaged citizens, regardless of gender, ethnicity, or political affiliation, are the foundation of democracy. And whereas for any democracy to work, all eligible citizens must be able to vote for their representatives without barrier in free and fair elections. And whereas the hallmark of good citizenship is community participation, including informed voting in every election in which a ballot is received. And whereas good citizenship includes respecting other points of view, keeping an open mind, and taking care of one another. And whereas thriving democracy includes governments that are open, transparent, inclusive, and equitable. Now therefore be it resolved that I, Wilmot Collins, Mayor of Helena, Montana, do hereby proclaim September 16, 2025 as National Voter Registration Day throughout this city and encourage citizens to remind friends and family to vote. We join the League of Women Voters of the Helena area in reminding citizens to check their voter registration at myvoterpagemt.com to ensure that they are ready and able to vote in the upcoming election. In witness whereof, I have hereunto set my hand and caused the seal of the city of Helena, Montana, to be affixed this 8th day of September 2025. Wilmot Collins, Mayor, attests. Danae Claiborne, Clerk of the Commission. Consent agenda. Approval of a resolution designating the environmental certifying official for the purposes of Helena Area Habitat for Humanity Housing and Urban Development, HUD, Self-Help Opportunity Program, SHOP grant application. Commissioners, any comments? Well, I'll entertain a motion.
Mr. Mayor,
Go ahead, Commissioner.
I move to approve a resolution designating the environmental certifying official for the purpose of Helena Area Habitat for Humanity's Housing and Urban Development Self-Help Opportunity Program grant application.
Second.
It's been moved and seconded. Any final discussion? Do you have any public comments on this issue?
Mr. Mayor, Commissioner Jacob Kuntz, I'm the Executive Director of Helena Area Habitat for Humanity. Just wanted to say thank you for your vote on this, and for Chris Brink and his staff for supporting the work of affordable housing. It's more challenging than ever to build affordable housing inside the city limits, so we welcome the opportunity to have a few projects that we can get underway. So thank you.
Thank you, sir. Do you have any other public comments? Madam Clerk, any online?
Mr. Mayor, I have no public comment online.
Okay, it's been moved and seconded. Madam Clerk, would you take the roll?
Commissioner Shertliff,
Aye.
Commissioner Dean,
Aye.
Commissioner Reed,
Aye.
Commissioner Logan,
Aye.
Mayor Collins.
Aye.
The motion carries 5-0.
Bid award. Bid award for Red Mountain Flume Repair Project number 22-04. Director Leland, you have the floor.
Thank you, Mayor, Commission. This marks a big milestone for all the ARPA projects. There's minimum allocation grants and DNRC grants, but we're just going to call it ARPA for now, just to not have to keep repeating it. And I want to thank Jamie Clark, the city engineer, about all the work he has gotten done. This is the fifth bid award, the fifth project that we are awarding, and the last one. And so he has done a ton of work to be able to get to this point. Even though there's a lot of other works to be done, I just want to give him a thank you for everything that he's done. So this is to award the Red Mountain Flume, which is the flume that connects just short of its Banner Creek all the way across to Sally Bell, Wilson Creek, and then dumps into Chessman Reservoir. We have significant deterioration in the flume and are losing a ton of water, upwards of 80% of what we are trying to collect. So this is going to be the last around 8,000 feet. We're going to bury it and do turnouts and intakes to be able to get that infrastructure up to current standards and be able to collect the best two drainages that we have out there. So with that, we opened bids on August 12th. We had 3 bids, and the lowest responsible bidder was Hard Rock Mining. And they did it, the base bid in $1,960,040, and the first additive alternate $213,155. The alternate 2 was $271,680, and the additive alternate 3 is $291,900. And with that, we would like to go ahead and recommend awarding the base bid and the additive alternate to use all of the ARPA funds that we have out there. And also, we are requesting that we do a budget amendment of $525,000 to use as contingency, so we can use up all the ARPA and not leave any onto the table. As any of our projects, we have 10% contingency. With it being construction and underground, you don't know exactly what is going to come out, and you may have change orders, which we usually do. We keep them to a minimum, and it's 10% that we typically do as contingency. So we would like to activate cash reserves to be able to use the contingency and have freedom to use all of the ARPA funds without having to come back to the commission and try and get more and play, not shell games, but we shift the money around. This will make it easier for us to be able to do that. So we'll be able to use all that. And with that, I'd be able to answer any questions.
Thank you, Director Leland. Commissioners? Yes, please.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor and Director Leland. Not a question, just a comment. I know we've all been up there at least a couple of times, and it's such a cool project, and it would be great if we could document a little bit of the before, after, during phase, because I think the loss of 80%, I mean, you hear it and it's striking, but when you actually see it, I think this is such a great project, and I would love to be able to highlight the sort of history of the flume and where we're going. So I would appreciate that. Thank you.
And Mayor, Commissioners, added on to that is part of this project through the permitting process, through the Forest Service, is we are going to start an interpretive trail on the first section of this flume. It'll be off the trail itself, or off the flume itself, but we'll have signs, and then we'll have a trail that people can walk, so.
Mr. Mayor.
Go ahead.
Thank you. Just very happy to see this in front of us this evening. It's, I think, one of the biggest opportunities in our water system to provide significant improvement for that system and for the citizens of Helena. And yeah, thanks.
Thank you. Go ahead.
Thanks, Mr. Mayor. I think this is a really good opportunity to kind of talk about the full circle moment of why our strategic planning is really important, because in 2023, when we started our new strategic planning process, the flume was one of the first things that we talked about in terms of really prioritizing getting things updated, and then when ARPA dollars became available, prioritizing those. And none of this would be possible in this amount of time if it weren't for the dollars that resulted as with ARPA. One of the things that I think, if we could just take the opportunity to talk about, is the permitting process. And maybe can you talk about how we got to this moment, and what the flume will look like compared to now, and when this project is done?
Mayor, Commissioner, the permitting process was almost 2.5 years going through the Forest Service. One of the biggest hurdles that we had to deal with was the historic value, which there is. We've all recognized it. We've walked it. It is beautiful. It is a great part of our history. So to get through the historical aspect of that, it took several iterations, a few meetings, and then we came up with an interpretive trail, and then the Forest Service had to review the plans to be able to make sure that anything that we do is not going to jeopardize the historic value of it. It was very intense, and again, it was all Jamie Clark. It was not me. I'm just standing up here to give this presentation, but it truly is Jamie and everything that he did. So it was 2.5 years of a lot of work, and at the end, it got, with all of the layoffs with the Forest Service, it just delayed the project a little bit, but we were able to get it finished.
And then in terms of what it's going to look like?
Oh, Mayor and Commissioner, so what it looks like, we're going to have a buried pipe. We're going to bury it. We're losing, at this section of it, we're losing probably, around 30 to 40%. It's one of our better ones, and it's so close, but we're losing 30 to 40%. We are going to bury all of the pipe, and then we're going to have the historic look of the intakes and the turnouts to be able to clean the pipe out, but we will clean it up and make it look as best as we can and as natural as we can.
Please.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. Director Leland, thanks for the tour of the flume a couple weeks ago. Really enjoyed that. It's great to see and great to hear that we got this project underway. I'm excited to see what it's going to look like when it's completed. What does the timeline look like from start to finish? When do you think we'll be able to have this complete?
Mayor, Commissioners, it's going to be weather dependent, of course. So we're going to get started next spring. We may be able to get a little bit started this fall, but it'll depend on contracting and with the weather. So we'll get started in the spring, or mainly summer, because it takes us until May to get rid of all the snow in June. So we are hoping to get it all completed come next fall, to get it done in one season.
Thank you. Jamie, thank you. Okay, do we have any public comments on this item? Madam Clerk, any online?
Mr. Mayor, I have no public comment online.
Okay, I'll entertain a motion.
Mr. Mayor,
Go ahead, Commissioner.
thank you. I move to approve the base bid and additive alternative 1 to the lowest responsive bidder, Hard Rock Road Building and Utilities Incorporated, in the amount of $2,173,196, and a budget amendment activating cash reserves in the amount of $525,000.
Second.
It's been moved and seconded. Any final discussion? Madam Clerk.
Commissioner Shertliff.
Aye.
Commissioner Dean.
Aye.
Commissioner Reed.
Aye.
Commissioner Logan.
Aye.
Mayor Collins.
Aye.
The motion carries 5-0.
Commissioners' proposals? Report of the city attorney?
Mayor, Commissioners, I have nothing to report. Thank you.
Report of the of the city manager?
Mayor, Commissioners, I have nothing to report this evening.
Communications from Helena Citizens Council? Do we have them online, Madam Clerk?
Mr. Mayor, I don't see a member of the HCC online this
Okay, when
evening.
they come back, would you just let us know? We will put them in.
Yes, I will.
Regular items. consider a resolution establishing the method of levying voted mills as required by law 2025, Chapter 674 and 767, passed in the 69th Montana Legislative Session. Director Danielson, you have the floor.
Thank you, Mayor and Commission. Tonight, I have before you a resolution to establish the method of levying mills for voted mills. This was a result of the most recent 2025 legislative sessions to some of their tax law changes. This particular resolution was required for the city to elect one of two methods of raising mills or dollars for our supplemental fire levy. So we had a choice of either setting our mills and then always staying at those number of mills, never being able to change those mills. And so your taxes raised would depend primarily on your assessed or taxable values. The other method is to choose to reset your base for dollars, and then is thereafter subject to the MCA 1510-420. So I did reach out to Montana League of Cities and Towns and to other finance directors in the state just to get a feel of what other cities are doing. The cities that responded to me are going with the method of resetting to dollars, and the Montana League of Cities and Towns also recommended resetting to dollars. There are several advantages of doing this. One is it is consistent with all future voted mills that we would pass in the future. It's more transparent to voters if you're telling them, you know, this is the number of dollars that we're going to raise for this particular voted mill. And then it also allows us to increase basis based on the inflation factor. I think it gives us a little bit more consistency in raising the levy over the course of the several new years until they pass different legislation in the future. So never know about that. So with that, I'm happy to answer any questions on this, and that's all I have.
Thank you, Director Danielson. Commissioners? Do we have any public comments on this topic? Do we have any online, Madam Clerk?
Mr. Mayor, I have no public comment online.
Okay, I'll entertain a motion.
Mr. Mayor, I will move to approve a resolution establishing a method of levying voted mills as required by law 2025, Chapter 674 and 767, passed in the 69th Montana Legislative Session.
Second.
It's been moved and seconded. Any final discussion? Madam Clerk?
Commissioner Shertliff,
Aye.
Commissioner Dean,
Aye.
Commissioner Reed,
Aye.
Commissioner Logan,
Aye.
Mayor Collins.
Aye.
The motion carries 5-0.
Okay. Consider a resolution canceling the general elections for the Neighborhood Council District 1 through District 7 for the 2025 election, declaring those qualified candidates elected by acclamation and establishing a procedure of appointment by the governing body for the remaining vacancies. Madam Clerk, you have the floor.
Thank you, Mayor and Commissioners. As discussed at the administrative meeting last week, this is a procedural resolution requested by the election supervisor through the clerk and recorder's office at the county. And essentially, due to a lack of candidate filings for the Helena Citizens Council Districts 1 through 7, those seats, there was not a competitive race for any of those districts. And therefore, in an interest of efficiency and government savings, the clerk and recorder's office and the election supervisor has requested that the city of Helena pass this resolution this evening, canceling those elections as they are unnecessary. And due to shortened timeline, the elections officer, due to legislation that was passed this past legislative session, he asked if we could also include within the language the ability for you to establish those candidates that have filed as elected by acclamation. If you can recall, In 2023, we went through a very similar process for the general election at that time as well. And then within this resolution, the draft resolution within your packet, we would also establish the appointment process that the governing body is required to appoint those vacancies following the acceptance of the November election results. So I'm here to answer any questions at this time if you have them.
Thank you, Madam Clerk. Commissioners, do we have any public comments on this topic? Madam Clerk, any online?
Mr. Mayor, I have no public comment online.
I'll entertain a motion.
Mr. Mayor,
Go ahead, Commissioner.
I move to approve a resolution canceling the HCC general election, declaring those filed as elected by acclamation, and establishing the appointment process for the remaining vacancies by the governing body.
Second.
It's been moved and seconded. Any final discussion? Madam Clerk.
Commissioner Shertliff.
Aye.
Commissioner Dean.
Aye.
Commissioner Reed.
Aye.
Commissioner Logan.
Aye.
Mayor Collins.
Aye.
The motion carries 5-0.
Public hearings. Consider a resolution for the City of Helena to establish a commercial property assessed capital enhancement CPACE program. Director Leland.
Thank you, Mayor and Commission. We've talked about this CPACE program a lot recently in a few different admin meetings and then at the previous commission meeting, so I'll keep it very short and sweet. It is a CPACE program that was brought by the Montana legislature that allows nonprofit businesses, private sectors to get low-cost, long-term funding to be able to do sustainability projects such as water, stormwater control, seismic for structural, and firearm storage was added in the last legislative bill. So those are some of the things that are eligible for the CPACE project. It is for any business, and it is for any project that is over $100,000. With that, I'd be happy to answer any questions.
Thank you. Commissioners, go ahead.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. Not a question, just a comment. I'm really happy to see this moving forward, and I want to thank Public Works and the Sustainability Coordinator and everyone who's been working on these projects. I think between this and the projects we recently approved and the pilot project, it's great to see such momentum in our sustainability efforts, so thank you.
Any others? Go ahead, Commissioner.
Well, I went back through my notes this weekend when I was prepping for this meeting, and the very first time that I had a meeting about CPACE was in April of 2023, and it was in 326 with Tim McKenna-Sellers, Andy Hunthausen, and Commissioner Logan. And it was the first conversation about would the county or the city think about trying to bring CPACE, and it has been 2 long years, and I am so glad that we are finally to this place where one of the organizations is finally adopting CPACE, and commercial entities in the city of Helena have an opportunity to access this financing mechanism and expand their sustainability initiatives within their organization. So very grateful for all the work, and it has been a long time coming, so thank you.
Thank you. Please.
Mr. Mayor, Director Leland, thanks for all the work that you and your team have done, especially the sustainability team and the coordinator, to get us to this point with CPACE. I've talked to plenty of businesses who are very interested in participating in this program. I want to thank the Last Best Pace team over at the Montana Department of Commerce in helping us get to this point.
Okay. Do we have any public comments on this? Madam Clerk, any online?
Mr. Mayor, I have no public comment online.
I'll entertain a motion.
Mr. Mayor,
Go ahead, Commissioner.
I move to approve a resolution for the City of Helena to establish a commercial property assessed capital enhancements program.
Second?
It's been moved and seconded. Any final discussion? Madam Clerk.
Commissioner Shertliff.
Aye.
Commissioner Dean.
Aye.
Commissioner Reed.
Aye.
Commissioner Logan.
Aye.
Mayor Collins.
Aye.
The motion carries 5-0.
Consider a resolution providing for the annual tax levy in mills for the fiscal year beginning July 1st, 2025 and ending June 30th, 2026. Director Danielson, you have the floor.
Thank you, Mayor and Commission. This is our annual levy for our mills. As noted in the previous resolution, we are resetting our supplemental fire levy in dollars, but translated into mills, that is 11.54 mills. I am recommending to the commission tonight to levy the full amount of mills that the city is allowed to. The group health insurance mill levy, 28.19 mills. Our general obligation debt, 5.74 mills. That's the Parks and Recreation GO debt. We have new general obligation debt for the fire station at 5.76 mills. Our limited general levy, 123.64 mills, and then again, the fire supplemental levy at 11.54 mills, for a total number of mills to be set for the 2025 tax year at 174.87 mills. Our total tax revenue from our original preliminary budget was reduced by $200,000. It's now at $11,150,000. That was as a result of receiving our final certified values and the assessed newly taxable property much lower than what I had originally estimated. I did give the commission a breakdown of all of our tax levies at our August 27th administrative meeting, and so much of the detail for these mills are in that packet. Happy to share them if you'd like again or have any questions at this point, but that's all I have for this evening.
Thank you, Director Danielson. Commissioners, any comments or questions? Do we have any public comments on this topic? Madam Clerk, any online?
Mr. Mayor, I have no public comment online.
Thank you. I'll entertain a motion.
Mr. Mayor,
Go ahead, Commissioner.
I will move to approve a resolution providing for the annual tax levy in mills for the fiscal year beginning July 1, 2025 and ending July 30th, 2026.
Second.
June.
June 30th, 2026.
It's been moved and seconded. Any final discussion? Madam Clerk.
Commissioner Shertliff,
Aye.
Commissioner Dean,
Aye.
Commissioner Reed,
Aye.
Commissioner Logan,
Aye.
Mayor Collins.
Aye.
The motion carries 5-0.
Consider a resolution approving a tax abatement application from Matthew Culpo and Christine Dennis for the property located at 3 Washington Place in the city of Helena, Montana. Director Danielson?
Thank you, Mayor and Commission. Tonight's the public hearing for the Commission to consider a tax abatement request for the property located at 3 Washington Place. Mr. Copel had attended our August 27th administrative meeting to discuss the project and answer any questions of the Commission. This went through a rigorous process of being delivered to the city by the established deadline. It then moves, because it's in the historic district of the city, it goes to the Historic Preservation Office, and then they review the application. Their information is in the packet of their recommendation for tax abatement on this particular proposal. The original abatement for this property was on the primary home, and then this is a garage with a dwelling unit also on the property. The Historic Preservation Office did recommend tax abatement. It went to the county, and they too agreed to grant the tax abatement for this particular property. And then tonight is the public hearing for this commission to consider whether or not to grant the abatement. The estimated abatement over the course of the 5 years is $1,083. And I'm open to any questions if you have any.
Thank you, Director Danielson. Commissioners? Do we have any public comments on this topic? Madam Clerk, any online?
Mr. Mayor, I have no public comment online.
I'll entertain a motion.
Mr. Mayor,
Go ahead, Commissioner.
I move to approve a resolution approving a tax abatement application of Matthew Culpo and Christine Tennis for that property located at 3 Washington Place in the city of Helena, Montana.
Second.
It's been moved and seconded. Any final discussion? Madam Clerk.
Commissioner Shertliff,
Aye.
Commissioner Dean,
Aye.
Commissioner Reed,
Aye.
Commissioner Logan,
Aye.
Mayor Collins.
Aye.
The motion carries 5-0.
Consider a resolution adopting final budgets, authorities, and appropriations for the fiscal year beginning July 1st, 2025, and ending June 30th, 2026, and setting the salary for the municipal court judge. Director Danielson?
Thank you, Mayor and Commission. So as you know, the Commission did adopt the preliminary budget back in June with Resolution 21002 on June 16th, 2025. Since then, we have made some changes from the preliminary budget to the final budget. A couple of those changes were the amendments that the Commission made during the preliminary budget. One was to increase the sidewalk funding, and then also to increase the solar loan program funding. So those have been incorporated into the final budget. The most substantial change from the preliminary budget to the final budget is adding the fire station general obligation bond. And so it's a little bit of an accounting exercise. We're receiving $7.3 million. We're paying debt service costs out of the GO bond fund, and then we're transferring money to reimburse project costs out of the general general capital fund. So you see $7 million moving in and out around, and so that does account for the substantial increase of appropriations, change of $15.9 million. So that's just more of an accounting exercise. I did reduce, as noted in the mill levy resolution, the property tax revenue by $200,000. There were some other adjustments, one to the streets fund. They requested to increase their ADA project funding by $500,000. There was a revenue decrease in the community facilities fund. They had originally incorporated into their revenue cost recover for the new fire station, but that won't be realized in fiscal year 26. They will start recovering maintenance and operating costs from the new fire station in fiscal year 2027. So we did reduce that. The neighborhood center building, they had a decrease to one of their projects, primarily because when I reevaluated the fund and their expenses and revenue, they were going to end up with negative cash flow at the end of fiscal year 26, and that obviously cannot happen. There was a period of time that there was no rent being collected from tenants, so the parking office moved out of the, I'm sorry, not the chamber funding, the chamber building. And I put neighborhood center building, but it was the chamber building, and I apologize for that. So they didn't collect funds from when the parking office moved out, and then there was another tenant that moved into that space and didn't start paying for that space until the beginning of fiscal year 2026, which reduced a bit of a revenue shortfall for them to be able to incorporate the full cost of the roof. So we will look as we go through the year whether or not they can recoup that or reduce the cost of the project to be able to recover that. The law enforcement block grant is an 2-year cycle grant where the city receives the funds, but then we also give Lewis and Clark County their proportionate share. So after reconciling that fund, I did need to increase revenue and appropriations in fiscal 26 to close out that grant. The 911 emergency fund, the transfer of $30,000 from that fund to support service funds was also an exercise for making sure that there was not negative cash flow. The bargaining unit and the support services fund completed their negotiations, which resulted in about a $21,000 increase to their salary and wages line, which put them into negative cash flow. This particular fund has been one that we have been talking to the county for a few years since I've been here about the sustainability of the costs and the actual public safety mill levy that supports the costs out of that fund. We do get an inflationary increase every year from the county from that levy, but it has not been to the full amount of the expenses. So we've been deficit spending out of the Support Services Fund for several years. This is the last year we can deficit fund out of that fund, and next year we will have to engage with the county on how we're going to support the full expenditures out of that fund going forward. So for this year, transferring $30,000 from the 911 fund over to SSD fund so that they can maintain positive cash flow. Again, I discussed the bond funds. The sidewalk fund was just from the preliminary budget, increasing the total expenditures to $500,000. And the water fund, they requested a few adjustments when we evaluated their workers' comp calculations from their preliminary budget. We discovered that they were off, and so we had to increase that liability by $17,000. They requested to add compliance software to their fund for $80,185. And then the Missouri River Treatment Plant flood repairs. As you know, that there was a flood out there, and they have been working to to mitigate the flood damage to equipment. They're not exactly sure how much the total cost of repairs is going to be, but they have expended funds in fiscal year 25, and then they will continue to expend funds in fiscal 26 to manage the repairs that are needed to the equipment out there. So if we do need to bring back a further budget adjustment, we will, but we're hoping we're not. And then the rest of and then the Public Works Internal Service Fund. So we created the new internal service fund for Public Works, and in order to maintain a base cash flow for expenditures out of that fund, the general fund is transferring $150,000 into that fund for base reserves. Part of that is over the course of the years, Public Works admin, industrial facilities, and engineering have been in the general fund, and we do a cost recovery for that based on estimated budget costs. Over the course of the years, we've identified that the enterprise funds have likely paid in more than what we estimated over the course of time. And so we met with the Public Works Director and the City Manager to agree on a base flat reserve of $150,000 to transfer them into their own fund. So now going forward, that fund will be internal service. Whatever savings or estimates that are maintained will be in that fund so that they can use for future either capital or for future expenditures. And then the remaining were just some kind of cleanup items that we looked at, making sure our transfers are balancing, and so that resulted into a few entries. So again, the total appropriation increases were $15.9 million. We did increase debt service revenue and some grant revenue by $15 million. And again, most of that is due to the new general obligation bond fund coming into the final budget. And with that, I am open to any questions. I did put in your packet a revised general fund cash flow statement and the use of our cash reserves. I know we're at September adopting our final budget, and I was just having a conversation with my budget analyst today. They're like, so they're busy doing assessments right now, but come October, they said, so what's next? And I says, well, in October, you get to prepare for the fiscal 27 budget. So it's just an ongoing cycle. So happy to be here. I'm open to any questions if you have them.
Thank you, Director Danielson. Commissioners? Go ahead.
Ms. Mayor, I don't have a question, but I just want to thank you and the entire finance department, because it is an ongoing cycle, but the last few years, I feel like we've finally gotten to a position where our budget is predictable, despite having new legislation that makes things interesting and sometimes challenging, but a few years ago, we didn't have the the clarity that we do now in terms of even just, cash on hand. And so we're in a much better position, and I feel, a lot better being able to adopt budgets, having a really clear idea about, what we have and what we have to work with. And I'm just grateful for your work every single year and the investments that we're making. I think we're consistently making very smart investments on an ongoing basis, where we are chipping away at the big things in a manner that we're dealing with some of the deferred maintenance in a smart way, and being able to make investments in our infrastructure, as we saw with some of the ARPA adoptions earlier today, that put us in a position to really address the needs of our community. So without the work that you do, none of that could happen. So thank you.
Thank you.
That was a long thank you.
Mr. Mayor,
So go ahead, Commissioner.
what she said.
Thank you.
Any other commissioners? Do we have any public comments on this topic? Madam Clerk, any online?
Mr. Mayor, I have no public comment online.
I'll entertain a motion.
Mr. Mayor,
Go ahead, Commissioner.
would move to approve a resolution adopting final budgets, budget authorities, and appropriations for the fiscal year beginning July 1, 2025, and ending June 30th, 2026, and setting the salary for the municipal court judge.
Second?
It's been moved and seconded. Any final discussion? Madam Clerk.
Commissioner Shertliff.
Aye.
Commissioner Dean.
Aye.
Commissioner Reed.
Aye.
Commissioner Logan.
Aye.
Mayor Collins.
Aye.
The motion carries 5-0.
At this time, is there anyone from the public wishes to address the commission? Please step forward.
Claiming September 16th National
Would you
Voter
introduce
Registration-
yourself, please?
Oh, I'm sorry, Claire Kearns. And on behalf of the league, I just wanted to thank you for declaring September 16th National Voter Registration Day, and recognizing the importance of people in Helena registering and actually voting.
Thank you.
Thank you.
So you're going to accept this?
Oh, sure.
Do we have any others? Please step forward.
There we go. Thank you all for being here. My name is Lily Clark, C-L-A-R-K-E. You may have heard of recent ICE abductions of wildland firefighters from fires here in Montana. This is only a continuation of what we have seen in Montana since July with Christopher Martinez's abduction. As a former wildland firefighter, I hope you can understand with me that this is extremely scary. We have wildland firefighters from all over the country and from out of the country who come here to keep our communities safe. Again, this is a continuation of law enforcement and immigration enforcement working together in a way that I hope you will join with me in saying that we will not have here in Helena with our local police department. With that, I have 5 top demands that I ask that you consider to put into an ordinance to make it so that none of our taxpayer dollars are going towards supporting local law enforcement working with immigration enforcement. I will now list those top 5 demands. Number 1, excuse me, let me get them up again. I got really excited to come up here. Number 1, Local law enforcement does not participate in immigration enforcement operations and activities. This means that no time or resources are spent on immigration enforcement, that no officers are deputized for immigration enforcement, and that there are no 287G agreements or any other type of immigration enforcement agreement signed by the city with federal authorities. Number 2, local law authorities or any staff employed by the city may not request information from anyone about their citizenship or immigration status. Number 3, local law enforcement is required to request any federal immigration authorities, including Department of Homeland Security, DHS, ICE, Immigration and Customs Enforcement, and CBP, Custom and Border Patrol, to demask and identify themselves. I'll just list one more. Local law enforcement must report all requests for assistance from immigration enforcement. Again, wildland firefighters and community members are here tonight to say we do not want our taxpayer dollars going toward working with immigration enforcement. Thank you.
Thank you. Do we have any others? Madam Clerk, do we have any online? Oh.
Hello. My name is Ashley Fisher, Fischer, and I just want to reiterate the same things that Lily just did. I'll go ahead and start with the demands. Local law enforcement does not participate in immigration enforcement operations and activities. This means that no time or resources be spent on immigration enforcement and no officers be deputized for immigration enforcement, and that there's no 287G agreements. Local law enforcement or any staff employed by the city may not request information from anyone about their citizenship or immigration status. 3, local law enforcement and city staff will not provide record information to federal immigration authorities, including but not limited to any information regarding immigration status. 4, local law enforcement is required to request any federal immigration authorities, including the Department of Homeland Security, Immigration and Customs Enforcement, and Custom and Border Control, to demask and identify themselves by name and agency to individuals that are interacting with and when they're interacting with the public. And whenever local law enforcement must also document any refusal by federal authorities to comply. And 5, local law enforcement must report all requests for assistance from immigration enforcement on a public available website. Any individuals' names who are subject to immigration enforcement requests are redacted for privacy. And that is it.
Thank you.
Evening, Commission. My name is Caleb Wallace. I'm a teacher out in East Helena. I want to support what was just said. I also want to give a little bit of an opinion on it, if I may. Right now, Washington, D.C. is filled with federal troops. Today, the Supreme Court rescinded LA's ability to restrict deportations. The Supreme Court went through and did so today. In both of these circumstances, it was the police departments of those areas that were not directly responsible but were complacent with these actions. In Washington, D.C., we see this still. The officers in the street pretty happy that the federal agents are there. In L.A., it recently came out, an article from NR, that the police chief was calling in the National Guard. Those are big cities, and they're bigger than Helena, obviously. They're, more central, but it happens there. It can happen here. Helena right now is, from my experience with it, and my experience is not all people's experience, my experience with Helena's police department is that they're kind, genial, generally understanding. That kind of all goes out the window when we are supporting organizations like ICE. If, no matter how true those things are, if the police department are on the side of our people, they're not on the side of the city, despite the fact that they're the city police, none of those things matter because there's no one really left in the way of us in the federal government. And as a teacher, I would love not to have to deal with the idea that ICE might come in and take one of my students, or I'm not going to see one of my students tomorrow. But unfortunately, I can't deal with that right now. It's not an idea that's really on my head. because it is possible. And the fact that our police department worked with ICE proves that. I teach the Holocaust every year. Really difficult to teach the Holocaust right now when I have students coming up to me in the spring asking if it's similar, and I can't answer those questions because I can't talk politics in the classroom. Point is, the police are supposed to stand with the city. They're called the city police. I would like to feel safe. I know that most of us would probably like to feel safe. Supporting ICE doesn't really let us do that. And it hurts all of us, from students to adults. Thank you for your time.
Thank you.
Hello, Mayor and Commissioners. My name is Julia Cotter, Cotter, and I'm here also to support the 5 demands that Lily and Ashley read for the Commission today. And I'm not going to reread them unless anyone would like me to reread them to provide any clarity. But I wanted to restate that this is something that we would like to see for the city of Helena to keep everyone safe, to keep our neighbors safe. And we would like to see these policies, these demands written into policy via an ordinance. Thank you.
Thank you.
Good evening, Mr. Mayor and members of the Helena City Commission. My name is Phoebe Howell, Howell, and I'm here to once again speak on the importance of doing everything we can to support immigrants in this city. Now that the U.S. Supreme Court has issued a ruling in support of racial profiling, knowing the grievous human rights violations that are continuing and escalating across the country, knowing that Helena is not immune to these atrocities, and knowing that this commission has explicitly acknowledged the significance of the situation, knowing all of these things, I find it prescient that we codify ways of protecting our community. We have put out a list of demands, a copy of which has been provided to this commission, as well as several individuals. I urge continued consideration from this commission, and I'm happy to talk to anyone on the commission with respect to this issue. Thank you.
Thank you. Madam Clerk, any online?
Mr. Mayor, I have one hand raised online. John E. Andrew.
Would you please let him through?
Mr. Andrew, can you hear us? Mr. Andrew, can you try your mic one more time? Mr. Mayor, Mr. Andrew, I can hear you on my computer, but unfortunately you're not coming through the microphone system here in the chambers. Would you like to submit your comments as written comments and I can read them into the record?
And relate to the mission that while I'm not the designated rep tonight, I just wanted to mention that our focus is on the community development presentation for the Helena Land Use Plan for September 16th at the Civic Center from 6 to 8:30. That'll be co-sponsored by Housel Levine.
Mr. Mayor, were you able to hear that?
Yes.
Okay. Thank you, Mr. Andrew. I apologize for the technical difficulty.
Do we have any others?
Mr. Mayor, I have no other public comment online.
Final comments from the commission?
Good evening, Mr. Mayor and members of the City Commissioner. My name is Danait Kasa, last name Kassa. I am here in support of the demands that my friend Lily put in front of you, and also to add just my own experience. I came to Helena for an opportunity at Care College 3 years ago, and Helena has been a most welcoming place for me, which is why I feel like we need to pay attention to these demands that we're putting forward so that Helena can keep being a safe place for people that are in similar situations to me. Thank you for listening.
Thank you. Any final comments from the commission? Nothing else? This meeting is adjourned.